Happy New Year, guys. Wow. Welcome back. Today we're going to take care of a problem that has just been hounding me from day one. That is the fuel pump. You guys have seen me look at it in the past in other videos, and I need to get rid of the radium fuel jet pump system area. I've clearly messed it up, so don't follow the instructions in those videos for the fuel pump. I've got a new SideTech fuel pump, and I've got a brand new to me used carrier. So we're going to stick the SideTech fuel pump in here, and hopefully that will resolve all my fuel starvation issues when it goes below half a tank, because that's been absolutely killing me, you know, driving around. You know, half a tank in a Golf R32 is probably only about 90 miles, so it isn't a lot to be playing around with. So I need to get used to that other half tank, especially when I start doing track days next year. So I've got the fuel sender here, got sent that from a guy up in I think it's York area. Very generous guy, and you know, didn't charge me a lot for it, which was fantastic. There's some people out there trying to charge £200 for one of these carriers. Absolutely insane. So I managed to get a good deal on this. The guy was, you know, very easy to work with. And I got the SideTech fuel pump. It cost around £120 or $130–40, depending on the exchange rate at the moment. It's a 340 litre fuel pump, so plenty ample for, you know, 500–600 horsepower. Whereas the 440 Walbro I had in there before, you know, was over spec for my build, so it didn't really matter. But 340 litres an hour is absolutely fine, and is all OE fit. We've got new O-rings in there as well in the kit, new pipe work, the lot. So it's all direct OE bolt on, but the time will tell whether the quality's there like there would be in the Walbro, etc. So fingers crossed it all goes well, and it solves my fuel starvation issue that has just been plaguing me since I've got the car back up and running. And then when that's fixed, then we can move on to bigger and better things like clutch pack, flywheel, suspension, brakes, you know, all those good things that we want to see going on. But we've got to get the basics sorted first. So with that, let's get cracking and let's get it fitted. Right then, guys, so here's my fuel filter, cage, basket, fuel sender, whatever you want to call it. This is out of a MK5 R32. The one I got, the reason I'm replacing this is because I hacked my basket to pieces, as some of you guys may have remembered in the video where I originally fitted the Walbro. So I bought a new carrier, exactly the same as mine. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to clean it up. I'm going to replace the fuel pump that's in it with the SideTech fuel pump, and then hopefully this should just be ready to slot back into the car, and should be good to go. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to clean up all this rubbish here and then replace the pump. Okay, so that's a little bit better than it was before, so just stop anything. We'll get in the fuel tank. So my main problem that I had in the car was that the fuel pump that was fitted, the Walbro one, didn't have this jet pump piece here that connected to the other side of the tank, whereas my new SideTech one, which is this one here, has the feed that will basically suck from the other side of the tank. So we're going to basically put that in its position, and hopefully that will fix our problems we've had. Well, I didn't want to do that, but I'm not using the pump, so I'm going to start comparing my SideTech fuel pump and the OEM one. So this is the SideTech fuel pump. It's a 340 litre fuel pump. You can get this in a 300 litre and a 340. This one here is the 340 litre. We should supply 500-600 horsepower, no problem. And then in the box you get a set of O-rings as well. So I should try and work out which they go. So one on the top, I assume, and then this is going to be fairly well put in there. So I see one in there as well. So perhaps the smaller one goes in there, like so. Just like that, sort of sits on the end, and then the other one, I assume, will sit on the end as well, because at the moment it's in this here. So I'm assuming that sits on there. So if we on this one, put it like that. And don't forget, anytime you're dealing with O-rings, always use a little bit of lube. Remember guys, make sure you always use a little bit of lube on O-rings. You never want them to go in dry. Okay, so there's a little sort of nipple there, which I'm assuming lines up with that one. So I'm gonna try and match them up. So I don't know if you guys will see that on camera, but there's the little nipple goes down into the top, into the hole that's on the end, essentially that hole there on the end of the fuel pump, and it comes out of that plastic tube here to fill the rest of the tank up. That's part of the jet pump system. That's what that bit there is for, which is the bit that I was missing or was using the radiant kit for. So just going to put all this back together now. I need to get set that aside, and I need to get the fuel feed off.
Hustle hard, hustle every single day. I'll be making moves till I'm buried in my grave. To the system, I don't wanna be a slave. I've been doing shit my way, or the highway. And in the driveway is a nice range, cause I grind through the climb, I invite pain. You'll never hear me, bitch, nah, I don't complain. Just gotta flip the switch and you can go and obtain anything you want, anything you need. Your mind's got the key ingredient, it's belief. They'll deceive with the negativity.
Right, finally got a pair of snips. What happens when you lend your tools out to your missus?
You can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never ran, said no, man, I still go. Go, 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 but even that could change. You could flip the gray matter like some batter.
So there we have it. Got the 2 wires for the pump. We've got the feed, the pumps to the fuel rail, and we've got the other side that sucks from the other side of the saddle tank. And then when we go to plug it in, there'll be something that slots in there. And we just basically put that back in there like this. Good to go. So as you can see, I've just finished up the fuel pump. I'm going to stick it in the car tomorrow morning. It's pitch black out there now, so I'm going to rip the rear bench up, get this fitted, and hopefully that'll be my problem sorted. With that said, let's get it in the car, and fingers crossed it resolves my issue. Happy New Year, guys. So it's New Year's Day today, the 1st of January, and I'm going to start the year off by fitting the new SideTech fuel pump into the Golf R32 Turbo. So you would have seen me previously, which was about a couple of days ago, for me, fitting the SideTech fuel pump into the new carrier that I've got, and then I'm just going to put it into the car now. I'm not going to film putting it into the car. That you've seen other videos of mine where I'm messing around pulling and putting the fuel sender into the tank. So I'm not going to film that, and I'll bring you back on when I've got it installed and hopefully it's working. You know, I could plug it in and it doesn't work at all. So fingers crossed it works. I'll bring you back on when I've done that, and then I'll let you know the results of the fuel starvation issue, whether I've still got it or not. And if I haven't, then you know I'm going to be over the moon. I've got to start driving this car to work sort of a few days a week from this year. So fingers crossed it sorts out the fuel starvation issue. So I'll bring you back when I've plumbed it in, and hopefully it's running. Let's get cracking. So the new fuel pump's in now. I'm just going to do it first start, and hopefully I can hear it prime. You can see it down there, ready? Okay, I heard it prime. Let's see if it starts. Okay. So she's running. I'm going to let it idle for 10 to 15 minutes, and fingers crossed there shouldn't be any issues. This pump definitely sounds quieter than the Walbro one, which is good. So I can hear a slight whine with the Walbro one. So I've got over half tank now, so I'm going to drive it around today, and I'll report back and let you know whether it's fixed the issue or not. But so far so good. While I've got the car idling over there in the background, I'll just show you through the fuel pump as how I had it set up and how I think I did it wrong, based on some of your guys' suggestions and help from some of you members. You know who you are. So I'll take you through what I've done and what I think I've done wrong. Right, so here's the fuel pump. The top of the fuel pump. I'll just take you through how it worked, and I'll take you through the issues that I had. So this is the pump, which then supplies the fuel to the fuel filter and the fuel rail, which comes from the top of the pump here. So it comes through there, goes to the fuel filter, returns back through this one here, this entry here, which then comes back in and goes into the radiant siphon valve, which then sucks fuel from the opposite side of the tank and then back into this side of the tank where the pump lives. So that was the plan. It was sort of set up similar to sort of this. Let me just try and put it back together. It was set up sort of like this, with the radiant fuel siphoner sort of outside the tank, and it pretty much looked like this in the tank, and I thought that would work. I think there's two problems here, two mistakes I made. One was this return here needs to have returned inside this swell pot, or whatever you want to call it, basket, swell pot, or whatever. It should have returned into there to fill this up. So I think what was happening was this was being sucked dry, and on hard acceleration it was sucked dry, it wasn't being filled up quick enough. So I think that was my problem. And the reason I couldn't reuse this basket was because I hacked the bottom apart. So even if I had plumbed that radium siphon into this basket, it would have made absolutely no difference whatsoever. So if I would have not hacked apart that bit and I'd have just put the pump inside here, I could have just rerouted the radium siphon into the here via the sort of the normal route or however, and I think it would have been fine. But because I hacked the bottom of the pump apart, I just couldn't do it. So I think this would have worked if I could have put this into the basket and I didn't hack the bottom of the basket to pieces. But I didn't quite know how this worked when I set it up originally, you know, way back in the summer. I didn't know how this whole pot thing functioned and why it did it like it does. So it was a huge learning curve for me. I've made some mistakes, you know, like I've documented in this build, and you know, I've made them, and hopefully so that you guys don't have to make them when you're doing your build, or just to give you an idea of how I've done stuff and how not to do stuff. So I'm not a professional, you know, just a guy doing this on my driveway, and I make mistakes like everyone else does. So, but the most important thing is I document them, and document them for you guys as well. I've got the SideTech fuel pump in there now. It's still idling lovely. It was a complete direct OE fit, so absolutely you know, straightforward, no issues whatsoever. I should have done it that way around. I mean, even just the radiant fuel siphoner costs the same as the pump, the Cytec pump. So, you know, I basically, you know, spent double the amount of money. Well, I spent triple the amount of money I should have done on this fuel pump, but you live and learn. So hopefully, guys, I'll report back whether it's been successful or not very shortly, and fingers crossed it's all good. Right, so that's it, guys. The fuel pump's in. I've just taken it for a test drive, and it seems to be working absolutely fine. The car seems a little bit smoother, which I think is down to the oil change, but it seems a lot smoother to drive now. And I did a few cheeky 0 to 60s, which I think I got some good times. I got around the 4-second timing. It's very damp here as well. It's literally just been, you know, it's just finished raining not long ago, so I think around the 4 seconds was a good time. So yeah, I mean, the fuel pump seems to be working fine. I had a leak initially from the seal of the tank, so I swapped the seal over with the one I had from the original pump, and it was fine. It's below half a tank at the moment, and I've done some launches and I've done some aggressive driving, and I've had no issues so far, but time will tell. When I get a little bit further down the tank is when I start coming into the issues, sort of near the quarter of a tank. I'll be driving it tonight, and I'll update you guys when I know if the fuel starvation issue has been solved. So there you go, guys, you can see that I'm just above quarter of a tank of fuel, and at this point, if I was to boot it and go into boost, I would hit a fuel starvation and basically like cut the engine. So let's give it a quick go and see what it does. Ready? Yeah, definitely no issues there, so I would say that's 100% solved my fuel starvation issue, and I'm happy with that. Right, guys, so I honestly think that's the fuel starvation issue sorted. Whether we run into other problems like, you know, the pump failing, etc. down the line, I don't know. But I can, you know, I'm a quarter of a tank now, and I can give boost all the way, where, you know, I was pretty much just below half a tank and I'd hit the fuel starvation issue. What would happen essentially would be I'd go into boost, I'd hit a fuel starvation, I'd be flown forward, engine would cut out, basically cut power, and I get it pop out of the back. So, you know, basically running lean, running out of fuel. But no, I don't get any of that issues now. Seems to be perfectly fine. But whether I get other issues, only time will tell. So I'm going to leave that here. I'm going to leave the video here now, and I think I'm absolutely over the moon, and I think I'm done with the fuel starvation issues. But only time will tell. So I'm going to end the video here, and have a good one.
I know you told your friend you're not okay, and tell me what's wrong and why you never said you felt that way. And guess you're trying